Hello, 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 making a video with Papa Dog together, and I'm going to read something to you from a book that I have translated, only a third of the book, and I'm going to shine the camera at my Blue God camera stand. Unfortunately, I can't use the camera stand right now because the light comes from behind me, so and then it always looks like someone is talking anonymously where you can't see the face. So that's why I'm showing my artwork instead while I read. And the papa dog sleeping. Okay, so I want to read this because it's very beautiful, and there's a couple of things in it that I want to highlight and I want to discuss because it does tie in still with modern times. He wrote this book, I think it was around 1880. So a long time ago, like more than 150 years ago. And he wrote this because he wanted to express how he feels around people. So, and he identifies himself with the Zarathustra figure, of course, because he sees himself as someone who lives most of his life in isolation and who struggles with humanity, with people, with humans. And so he wanted to write this fairy tale for that reason, and also, to express to the world how he feels and how it's like to be someone who has a message and that message is not understood. So this is the first part here. Zarathustra's introduction, part 1. When Zarathustra was 30 years old, he left his home and the lake of his home, and he went into the mountains. Here he enjoyed his mind and his solitude, and he did not get tired of it for 10 years. Finally, he had a change of heart, and one morning he got up at dusk, stepped in front of the sun, and spoke to her thus: "You great star, what would be your happiness if you had not those whom you illuminate? 10 years have you come up to my cave. You would have become tired of your light and path without me, my eagle, and my snake. But we waited for you every morning, accepted your abundance, and praised you for it. Look, I am heavy from my wisdom, like the bee who had collected too much honey. I am in need of reaching my hands out. I want to give and donate until the wise people among humans once again have enjoyed their naivety, and the poor for once have enjoyed their wealth. For this I have to step into the depths, like you do this in the evening when you walk behind the ocean, and yet give the underworld light, you abundant star. I must, like you, descend, like the humans call it, to whom I want to walk down to. So give me comfort, you calm eye, which without envy also can see overwhelming joy. Bless the cup which wants to overflow, that the water flows out golden, and that it carries everywhere your radiation of peace. Look, this cup wants to become empty again, and Zarathustra wants to become human again. So began Zarathustra's descent. Part 2. Zarathustra hiked down on the mountain, and nobody met him. But as he walked into the woods, there stood an elderly man before him, all of the sudden, who had left his holy hut to collect roots in the forest. And thus spoke the elderly man to Zarathustra. No strange seems to me this wonder. No strange. I think I need to correct this. This is not a finished product yet, so I'm still working. I guess he has to say, no stranger seems to me this wanderer. Some years ago he passed by here. It's been a long time that I have worked on this book, many, many years, like at least 8 years. Zarathustra was his name, but he has changed. Back then you carried your ashes to the mountains. Do you want to carry your fire today into the valleys? Don't you fear the arsonist's punishment? Yes, I recognize Zarathustra. Pure is his eye, and at his mouth there is no disgust concealed. Doesn't he therefore walk like a dancer? Changed is Zarathustra. He has changed into a child, an enlightened one is Zarathustra. What do you want near the unconscious persons? Like in the ocean you lived in solitude, and the ocean carried you. Beware, you want to climb on shore. Beware, you want to drag your body yourself. Zarathustra answered, I love the humans. Why, said the holy man, did I go into the forest and into the reclusion? What? Was it not because I loved the humans all too much? Now I love God, the humans I don't love. The human is a too uncompleted thing for me. Love for humans would kill me, Zarathustra answered. What did I speak about love? I bring to the humans a present. Give them nothing, said the holy man. Rather take a burden from them and carry it with them. This will be the most soothing for them. When he only soothes you. And did you want to give them something? So don't give any more than a pittance, and let them yet beg for it. No, answered Zarathustra, I don't give a pittance. For that I am not poor enough. The holy man laughed about Zarathustra and spoke thus. So make sure that they accept your treasures. They are suspicious of the recluses, and they don't believe that we are coming in order to give. Our steps sound too lonely through their alleyways, and like when they are in bed at night and hear a man walk long before the sun rises, so they will ask themselves most likely, where does the thief want to go to? Don't go to the humans and stay in the forest. Rather go to the animals. Why don't you want to be like me, a bear among bears, a bird among birds? And what does the holy man do in the forest? Asked Zarathustra. The holy man answered, I make songs and sing them, and when I make songs I laugh, cry, and moan, so I praise God. Through singing, crying, laughing, and moaning do I praise the God, who is my God. Yet what do you bring us as a present? When Zarathustra heard those words, he greeted the holy man and spoke, What did I have to give to you? But let me quickly leave, so that I don't take anything from you. And so they parted, the elderly man and the younger man, laughing like two boys are laughing. But when Zarathustra was alone, he spoke to his heart. Should it then be possible this old holy man has in his forest not heard yet that God is dead? When Zarathustra came into the next village, which sits next to the forests, he found there many people gathering at the marketplace, because it was announced that one would see an acrobat, and Zarathustra spoke to the folks. I teach you the superhuman. The human is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? All beings have so far achieved something above themselves, and you want to be the low tide of this high tide and rather go back to the animal states rather than to overcome the human? What is the monkey to the human, a laughter or a painful embarrassment? You have gone the path from warm to human, and much in you is still warm. Once you were monkeys, and even now is the human, more monkey than any monkey is. But whoever is the wisest of you is still only a twilight and hybrid of plant and ghost. But do I tell you to become plants and ghosts? See, I teach you the superhuman. The superhuman is the meaning of the earth. Your intention should say, the superhuman be the meaning of the earth. I swear to you, my brothers, stay faithful to the earth and don't believe those who talk to you about supernatural hopes. Poison mixers are those, whether they know it or not. Contemptors of life are those, dying and themselves poisoned, who are tired of the earth. So may they pass away. Once the crime against God was the worst crime, but God died, and with him those criminals. To disrespect the earth is now the worst, and also the worst is to respect the matter of the unresearchable as higher than the meaning of the earth. Once looked the soul contemptuously onto the body, and back then was this contempt the highest. She wanted him anorexic, horrible, and starved. That's how she thought to elope from him and the earth. Oh, the soul was still anorexic herself, horrible and starved, and gruesomeness was the pleasure of his soul. But still you, my brothers, talk to me. What reveals your body of your soul? Is your soul not poverty and dirt and pitiful complacency? Truly a dirty stream is the human. One has to be an ocean in order to accommodate a dirty stream without becoming unclean. See, I teach you the superhuman. He is the ocean, and him can your great contempt dissolve. What is the greatest that you can experience? That is the hour of your deep contempt, the hour in which also your joy will become your disgust, and also your reasoning and your virtue. The hour in which you say, what is the meaning of my joy? It is poverty and dirt and a pitiful complacency. But my joy itself should justify my existence. The hour in which you say, what is the meaning of my reasoning? Does the desire knowledge like the Does she desire knowledge like the lion desires his food? She is poverty and dirt and a pitiful complacency, the hour in which you say, what is the meaning of my virtue? She has yet not made me rage. How tired am I of my good and my bad? All that is poverty and dirt and a pitiful complacency. The hour in which you say, what is the meaning of my justice? I don't see that. I was glowing and ashes, but the fair person is glowing and ashes. The hour in which you say, what is the meaning of my compassion? Is compassion not the cross onto which the person is being nailed who loves the humans? But my compassion is not a crucifixion. Did you speak so yet? Did you scream so yet? Ah, as if I had heard you scream like this yet. Not your sin, Your placidness screams to the sky. Your stinginess itself in your sin screams to the sky. Where is still the flesh who licked you with his tongue? Where is the insanity with which you should be vaccinated? See, I teach you the superhuman. He is this flesh. He is this insanity. When Zarathustra had spoken, one person screamed from the folk, "We heard enough from the acrobat. Now let us see him as well." And all folks laughed about Zarathustra. But the acrobat, who believed that the word was directed at him, began to work. But Zarathustra observed the folk and wondered. Then he spoke so: "The human is a rope knitted between animal and superhuman, a rope over an abyss, a dangerous transgression, a dangerous on the road, a dangerous retrospection, a dangerous shuddering and standing still." What is great about the human is that he is a bridge and not a means. What can be loved about the human is that he is a transition and a demise. I love those who don't know how to live, be it as those who go down, since it's the transitioners. I love the great despisers because they are the great admirers, and they are arrows of desire towards the other shore. I love those who don't only search for ground behind the stars in order to go down and become a victim, rather those who sacrifice themselves to the earth so that the earth one day will belong to the superhuman. I love the person who lives in order to recognize and who wants to recognize so that one day the superhuman lives. And that's how he wants his demise. I love the person who works and invents so that he builds the house for the superhuman and prepares him soil, animal and plant, because that's how he wants his demise. I love the person who loves his virtue, because virtue is the readiness for demise and an arrow of desire. I love the person who doesn't withhold a drop of his mind, but who wants to completely be the mind of his virtue, so he walks as a mind over the bridge. I love the person who makes out of his virtue his emphasis and his doom, so he wants to still live for the virtue and not any more live. I love the person who does not want to have too many virtues. One virtue is more virtue than two, because it is more knots onto which the doom hangs. I love the person whose soul squanders itself, who does not want to receive gratitude, and who does not give back. I guess by gratitude, that's the wrong word. He needs, the word should be praise, probably. Okay, I have to completely redo this. Because he gives all the time and does not want to conserve himself. I love the person who feels shame when the dice falls towards his luck and who then asks, "Am I therefore a false player?" because he wants to go down. I love the person who throws golden words ahead of his deeds and still does more than he promises because he wants his demise. I love the person who justifies the future generation and relieves the past generation because he wants to go down through the present generation. I love the person who trains his God because he loves his God, because he must go down through the wrath of his God. I love the person whose soul is deep, also in hurt, and who can go down through a small incident, so he likes to go over the bridge. I love the person whose soul is abundant, so that he forgets himself, and all things are in him. So will all things be his demise. I love the person who is free of mind and free of heart. So is his head only a viscera of his heart. His heart, however, drives him to his demise. I love all those who are heavy drops falling singularly out of the dark cloud which hangs over the humans. They proclaim that the flash is coming and go down as proclaimers. See, I am a proclaimer of the flash and a heavy drop from the cloud, but this flash is called superhuman. When Zarathustra had spoken those words, he observed the folks and remained silent. There they stand, he spoke to his heart. There they laugh. They don't understand me. I am not the mouth for those ears. Must one yet shatter their ears so that they learn to hear with their eyes? Must one rattle like drums and preachers of penitence, or do they only believe the babbling person? They have something which they are proud of. How do they call it, which makes them proud? Education is what they call it. It elevates them above the goat herders. Therefore, they don't like to hear from themselves the word despise. Therefore, I want to talk to their pride. Therefore, I want to speak to them about the most despised. But this is the last human. And thus spoke Zarathustra to the folk. It is time that the human stacks up his goal. It is time that the human plants the seeds of his highest hope. Still is his ground rich enough for this. But this ground will one day be poor and meek, and no high tree will be able to grow out of it any more. And that is literally the case with us today. People have depleted the soil of the ground and the soil of their own minds. Beware, it comes the time which the human cannot throw the arrow of his desire beyond the human, and where the string of his bow has unlearned to vibrate. I tell you, one must still have chaos in themselves in order to give birth to a dancing star. I tell you, you still have chaos in you. Beware, it comes the time in which the human will not give birth to a star anymore. Beware, it comes the time of the most despised human who cannot despise himself anymore. See, I show you the last human. What is love? What is creation? What is desire? What is star? So asks the last human and squints his eyes. The earth has become small then, and on her jumps the last human who makes everything small. His breed is inextinguishable like the earth flea. The last human lives the longest. We have invented happiness, say the last humans and squint their eyes. They have left the areas where it was hard to live because one needs warmth. Yet one loves the neighbor and rubs himself on him because one needs warmth. Becoming ill and having mistrust, they see as sinful. One moves ahead cautiously, a fool who even trips over stones or humans. A bit of poison once in a while that makes comfortable dreams, and much poison in the end for a comfortable dying. One works still since work is an entertainment, but one makes sure that the entertainment does not become overstraining. One does not become poor and rich. Both are too burdensome. Who wants to still govern? Who still obey? Both are too burdensome. No shepherd and no herd. Everybody wants the same. Everybody is the same. Whoever is different goes voluntarily into the insane asylum. In the past, all world was insane, say the most noble ones and squint their eyes. One is smart and knows everything. What has happened, therefore, one has no end in sight. One fights yet, but reconciled again. Otherwise, it upset the stomach. One has their little pleasures, for the day and their pleasures for the night, but one values health. We have invented happiness, say the last humans and squint their eyes. And here ended the first speech of Zarathustra, which one also calls the introduction, because at this point interrupted him the screaming and the joy of the crowd. Give us this last human, O Zarathustra, so they called. Make us into those last humans. So we give you the superhuman. And all folks cheered and clucked with the tongue. But Zarathustra became sad and said to his heart, they don't understand me. I am not the mouth for those ears. Too long, I believe, did I live in the mountains. Too much did I listen to the streams and trees. Now I talk to them like the goat herders. Unmoving is my soul, and light like the mountains before noon. But they think I was cold and a mocker in horrible jokes. And now they look at me and laugh, and whilst they laugh, they yet hate me. It is ice in their laughing. But there happened something which made every mouth mute and every eye fixed. In the meantime, namely, had the acrobat begun his work. He had stepped out of a small door and walked over the rope, which was spanned between two towers, so that it hung over the marketplace and the people. As he just was in the middle of his way, the small door opened once again, and a colorful fellow like a clown jumped out and walked with fast steps after the first one. Move ahead, lame foot, called his horrible voice. Move ahead, sloth, smuggler, pasty face, that I don't tickle you with my heel. What are you doing here between towers? Into the tower you belong. One should imprison you. You block the way for a better person than you are. And with every word he came closer and closer towards him. But when he was only just one step behind him, there happened the shocking, which made every mouth mute and every eye fixed. He emitted a screaming like a devil, and he jumped over the person who was in his way. But the person, as he saw his competitor win like this, lost his head and his rope. He threw his rod away and it shot faster. He shot faster than the rod, like a whirlpool of arms and legs into the abyss. The marketplace and the people resembled the ocean when the storm drives in. All fled apart and above one another, and mostly there were the body that was to beat down. But Zarathustra stood still, and just beneath him fell the body down, badly hurt and shattered, but not yet dead. After a while, the shattered one gained his consciousness back, and he saw Zarathustra kneeling next to him. What are you doing there? He finally said. I knew this for a long time, that the devil would set me a leg to fall over. Now he drags me to hell. Do you want to blame him? With my honor, my friend, answered Zarathustra, that all does not exist what you are talking about. There is no devil and no hell. Your soul will yet be faster dead than your body. Fear nothing any more now. The man looked suspiciously. If you speak the truth, he said then, so I don't lose anything if I lose my life, I am not much more than an animal which one had taught to dance through beatings and little food. Don't say that, sir, spoke Zarathustra. You have created your profession out of the danger. On this is nothing to disrespect. Now you go down through your profession. For that I want to bury you with my hands." When Zarathustra had said this, the dying person did not respond anymore, but he moved the hand as if he was searching for the hand of Zarathustra to thank him. In the meantime came the evening, and the marketplace obscured itself in darkness. There dispersed the people because even curiosity and horror became tired. But Zarathustra sat beside the dead person on the ground and was absorbed in thoughts. That's how he forgot the time. But finally it became nighttime, and a cold wind blew over the lonely person. There Zarathustra got up and said to his heart, "Indeed, a beautiful catch had Zarathustra today. No human did he catch, but a corpse. Eerie is the human existence, and still without meaning. A clown can become his demise. I want to teach the humans the meaning of their existences, which is the superhuman, the flash from the dark cloud human. But I am still distant to them, and my sense does not talk to their senses. I am still an intermediate to the humans, between a joker and a corpse. Dark is the night, dark are the paths of Zarathustra. Come, you cold and rigid fellow, I carry you towards where I bury you with my hands." When Zarathustra had said this to his heart, he loaded the corpse onto his back and moved on, and not yet had he walked 100 steps. There stalked him a human and whispered in his ear, and see, he who talked was the clown from the tower. "Go away from this town, O Zarathustra," he said. "Too many hate you here. The good and righteous ones hate you, and they call you their enemy and despiser. The believers of the right belief hate you, and they call you the danger of the masses. Your luck it was that you have given company to the dead dog. As you humiliated yourself like that, have you rescued yourself for today? But go away from this town, or tomorrow I will jump over you, a living over a dead one." And as he had said this, the human disappeared. But Zarathustra continued to walk through the dark alleys. At the gates of the town, he met the grave diggers. They illuminated him with their torch into his face, recognized Zarathustra, and bullied him very heavily. "Zarathustra carries the dead dog away. Good for him that Zarathustra has become a grave digger, because our hands are too clean for this roast meat. Does Zarathustra maybe want to steal the meal from the devil? Go ahead, and good luck for your meal. If only the devil might not be a better thief than Zarathustra. He steals them both, he eats them both." And they laughed together and put their heads together. Zarathustra said nothing to that and continued on his path. After he had walked for 2 hours, past forests and bogs, there he had heard too much of the hungry howling of the wolves, and he himself had become hungry. Therefore he stopped at a lonely house in which a light was shining. "The hunger overcomes me," said Zarathustra, "like a bandit. In forests and bogs raids me my hunger, and in deep night, strange moods has my hunger. Often he comes to me only after the meal, and today he did not come for a whole day. Where did he hide?" And with this Zarathustra beat on the gate of the house. An old man appeared. He carried the light and asked, "Who comes to me and to my bad sleep?" "A living and a dead person," said Zarathustra. "Give me to eat and to drink. I forgot it during the day." He who feeds the hungry person nourishes his own soul. That's how the wisdom speaks. The old man walked away, but came back quickly and offered Zarathustra bread and wine. A harsh area it is for starving persons, he said. That's why I live here. Animals and humans come to me, the recluse. But also allow your companion to eat and drink. He is more tired than you are. Zarathustra answered, Death is my companion. I will hardly him into it. Talk him into it. This is not my business, said the old man grumpy. Who knocks onto my house has to take what I offer him. Eat and farewell. After that, Zarathustra walked again for 2 hours and trusted the path and the light of the stars, because he was a skilled night worker, and loved it to look into the face of all sleeping. But when the morning faded in, Zarathustra found himself in a deep forest, and no path showed itself to him any more. There he laid the dead person into a hollow tree above his head, because he wanted to protect him from the wolves, and he laid himself on the ground and the moss, and soon he fell asleep, his body tired, but with an unmoved soul. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at this now for now. Maybe I will read some more later on, but I make part 2 because I want to get into it more.